Please subscribe and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone! Today on Lady Mary Bath, we are shopping Habitat for Humanity's ReStore. They are located on Jones Road in North Houston. You can find them in our Houston Thrift Guide and on the map. They are the ultimate recyclers. Lots to discover here with architectural elements, lightingware, antique furniture, flooring, and even a few dishes. Can't wait to take you inside. Join me. Here's ReStore on the map and in the store locator. They are open 9 to 6 Monday through Saturday. It truly is a home improvement treasure hunt. They sell furniture, home accessories, building materials, appliances, flooring, cabinetry, and much more. Proceeds support Houston Habitat's mission to build and improve the places Houstonians call home. Each time you drop by, it's a different store. Always changing, and you might find something incredible. Welcome to ReStore, where proceeds benefit local families to make housing a reality. They have a great mission, and it's a wonderful opportunity for you to shop for housewares, furniture, lighting, and add some architectural elements to your space. It is definitely the ultimate in upcycling. Let's have a look at the store. I see some English transferware. If you're looking to add to your pattern, you might be in luck if the bouquet happens to be in your cabinets. I like the colors. They are subdued, and the red and green would go well for the fall and for Christmas. Myott's bouquet, made in Staffordshire, England. Myott got its start in 1898 as an earthenware factory in Staffordshire, England. It was founded by two brothers, Sidney and Ashley Myott. The bouquet pattern has had many variations over the years, and this version of the transferware is from about the 1960s. They were acquired by Interpace in 1969. The home decor section has some interesting finds. You could also find a great entertaining essential. Trays are practical. This could be the base of a centerpiece, great for serving drinks. At $14, it is lacquerware, and I think would be a great addition to your bar cart. I'm always looking for vintage glassware, and I'm usually looking for a set, but I've actually been wanting a single glass in this pattern. And a solo cup can also elevate your everyday. The artisans have captured the detail of this flower. I will tell you more about the history and a new perspective of this single saucer champagne. A great find with the perfect glass. Fostoria made the Fuchsia pattern from 1933 to 1943. I was actually looking for this pattern as I hosted my Savor and Style luncheon last February with the theme of fuchsia. That was the color inspiration. There is such detail here and lots of great history to share on the flower. The fuchsia flower was named in honor of German physician and botanist Leonhard Fuchs. He was born in 1501 in Bavaria. He collected plants and seeds from around the world by reaching out to explorers. He had a garden, and in 1542 published the Notable Commentaries on the History of Plants. In 1703, the French scientist Charles Plumier discovered an interesting flower on the island of Hispaniola and named it after his hero, Leonhard Fuchs. It is called fuchsia, and in German, Fuchsia. A mid-century snack set, one that probably would have been displayed in a kitchen. Popcorn, potato chips, and peanuts. The wooden bowls were popular from the 1950s to the 1970s and were made by NASCO in Japan. We found some bowls recently at Ma'am Resale where we set a table with a seaside theme. A huge collection of a mid-century pattern that was popular and is hard to find today. I'll tell you more about the history. And these are oven-proof, be a great way to stretch your pattern. And of course, you could also blend it with perhaps the Franciscan Madeira or a classic white. It has a space-age look to it. And this is sold as a set for $99 total, which is an excellent price. If you shop the secondary market online, you would pay quite a bit more. From Red Wing, and these are hand painted. Would be ideal for tea time. Lots of cups and saucers. The 2 narrow rectangular platters. Be nice for tea time cookies and scones. If these were sold individually, that would be interesting to add a few elements to your pattern to blend it. But I think it's good that they're selling these together. Bob White, and I'll tell you more about the name and how it ties in with this design. The large soup tureen and another platter. It's not your ordinary pattern. The Bob White from Red Wing Potteries has an interesting history. Dates back to the 1860s when the company was founded, making stoneware jugs and crocks for food storage before refrigeration. And this pattern had a 13-year span and has quite the interesting history. A best-selling pattern designed in 1954 by Charles Murphy. This was made until they closed in 1967. You will notice that stylized quail design with the turquoise and brown tones. It's named after the American species of quail called Bob White. And if you listen to the bird's call, it does sound like they're saying Bob White. Definitely worth a listen. And this is an iconic pattern that is hard to find. This pattern became even more popular after a February 1956 feature in a popular men's magazine. You can probably guess that one. There is a pottery museum in Red Wing, Minnesota that preserves the history of Bob White. Very much a stylized pattern with this divided open vegetable. And here we have the 9-inch open vegetable. Also a tureen that's missing the lid, some interesting shapes with these long rectangular platters. Be a great addition to your mid-century style. Dishes with a European design. You'll notice that inner gold rim with a wide marbleized silver look. We'll turn it over to find a back stamp. And there is no mark, but I'm not giving up. Oftentimes with European china, you will have some that are marked and some that are smaller might actually have more information. It's made in Poland from about the 1960s. A crystal vase is ideal for all seasons and great for gifting. Priced at $24. It is European cut crystal. You see the notched rim. That is indicative of it being from probably Eastern Europe or perhaps Germany. We're also finding some antiques. You can always tuck a table just about anywhere in your home or use it for tea time. And that's a great price. I'll tell you more about the design. A $99 Duncan Phyfe mid-century side table for $99. That's a deal. I'll tell you more about the history and how to identify Duncan Phyfe. Duncan Phyfe was a real person. He was born in 1768 in Scotland and immigrated to New York State with his family. He later apprenticed with a cabinet maker in New York City and opened his own shop. These wonderful pieces from the mid-century often have flared legs, brass-covered feet, and a lyre or harp integrated into the design, often sold as a pair. This would have been a prominent feature in someone's living space, and that's a great price and a wonderful mid-century addition. You could also go for some marble and metal with this newer side table with an elephant. An interesting medallion with that glass top. Has an Indian flair, and it's priced at $250. I love a good monogram. Even if it's not your own, it could be interesting for your space. I'm thinking this is a magazine rack. In the 1960s, monograms were very popular. We even found them on barware, and that's a great deal at $15. This chair has my attention with the seal of the great state of Texas. Priced at $199. I did some research and I found a company that sells these online for about $400. So you are getting a fair price. Lots of Victorian style sofas. And these do need some work, but the wood is in great condition. You can certainly have these reupholstered. And they're all different price points. This one is a crushed velvet design with the upholstery, $350. And you could probably use it as is. It looks to be fairly new with the fabric. And this one needs a bit more work, also with the cushions. It's a beautiful shape. And the price is right. $99 restoration project. And if you have a Victorian style home or bed and breakfast, it would be a nice addition. Chest of drawers. This is also an exceptional price and great quality. You don't find solid wood as much anymore with new furniture. Another reason to shop resale. And we saw this style a bit earlier. Another Duncan Phyfe treasure. This is the traditional side of mid-century furniture, popular from the 1940s through the 60s. And this chest of drawers looks to be maple, and it has 6 drawers, solid wood. You can't beat that. Of course, this could be a project piece, or you could clean it up and integrate that into your bedroom. It is $75, and that is an exceptional price. You could help save the planet and use upcycled wood. Lots of reclaimed wood here for your next building project. Many different sizes, wood types, and finishes. There are plenty of eco-friendly options instead of buying newly manufactured. ReStore goes into properties that are being demolished, and they take everything and salvage as much as they can. They even work with a company that recycles the concrete from the foundation. These are cornice boards. They also have reclaimed wood, doors, windows, and bricks, and we'll take a look at some of those vintage items in just a bit. You can also find large quantities of reclaimed wood. $999. That would definitely fill your space. Here's an example of one of the doors. They had one from the Castle Door Company that probably would have cost thousands, but it unfortunately sold before I could share it with you. Walked out the door rather quickly. A newer sofa, and how about these lamp posts that were donated? Perhaps it came from a neighborhood. Has kind of a New Orleans look to it. And some mid-century furniture. The wardrobes are plentiful. You could fit this in your entryway, for coats, could go in a bedroom, a hallway, even a living space. This one is priced at $350, and they do have them in all different price points. They're very practical and great for storage. How about a farmhouse look? They share many ideas with us here with the photos of how you can upcycle these reclaimed windows. Could even be patriotic. And the prices are really good. The average cost is about $20 for a window. DIY and functional. Many ways that you could utilize these reclaimed windows, and they're priced affordably, about $25 each. You could add chalkboard paint and use it as a memo board for family photographs, use it as the top of a coffee table, and also hang a seasonal wreath. This could be a nice wall display, and they give us some great ideas. The lightingware section is vast, anything from modern to traditional. A pair of accent lamps for $60, and the shades are in perfect condition. And they even have a pendulum light for $5. That's a modern industrial look. I can see that in round top. And this one is spectacular. Light up your world. They have great prices on floor lamps, table lamps, even chandeliers, ceiling fans, and wall sconces. And there is one that I saw that is a fraction of the retail price. Let's have a look. This stained glass light fixture would be great for a breakfast room, game room, den, and many other areas of your home. It is $740 on Amazon for the exact one, sold through a lightingware company, and their price is $75. That's definitely a deal. The bargain stained glass light fixture is called Roman Jewel Art. Shades in every size. I don't know if you've priced lampshades recently, but they certainly are quite expensive retail. That has a barley twist look to it. And they even have the light bulbs, everything that you could possibly need to build your lightingware. And you could even use this as a starting point and cover it with fabric and get creative. You can have it made in the shade with these affordable lamp shades. They're about $12 each for this size. They are donated. You definitely are being eco-friendly with these. And they are quite expensive in retail stores. I would bring my lamp in to find the perfect fit. A surprise Pottery Barn bedroom set. Not what you would imagine you would find at a ReStore. Looks to be in great shape, $1,750 for 4 pieces, and I promise you it costs a lot more at Pottery Barn. My friend Stephanie just bought a bed for her son for his first apartment, and she paid over $2,000 just for the bed. This mantle has an ochre yellow color to it, looks a bit like the 1970s. It's also been hand painted a bit more recently, it looks like 2007. With the artist's signature, $999. And it would have come from a large estate. There's such detailing here. A great example of how they salvage everything from the home. I would take it down to the original wood and remove the paint, and that could be an incredible focal point in your room. This fireplace surround is bigger than a Buick. It has been salvaged from a River Oaks mansion. You can tell by the scale of the shape and design, this was not in a small room. It has been hand painted. We see the artist's signature here. And you could, of course, use it as a faux fireplace or build your space around it. I've also seen mantles used as headboards. We will delve into the world of antique reclaimed bricks. They have quite an assortment here, some that built our city. White sells cherry reds from the Corsicana Brick Company. We can often find the manufacturer's name in the mold of the brick and tie that into history. Texas A&M University in College Station has some buildings that have the cherry reds, and the Corsicana Brick Company was the only producer at that time with the red clay. If these bricks could talk, they each have an interesting history with the manufacturers, and most of these are made of Texas clay, a company you probably are familiar with. Acme Houston. You probably recognize Acme Brick. It is the largest American-owned brick manufacturer. Was started in 1891 by George Bennett using some natural shale deposits west of Fort Worth, Texas. And Acme Brick has some history in our city as well, with the iconic Gulf Building. It was constructed between 1927 and 1929 using the Acme bricks. Heritage bricks add rustic charm and architectural interest to your projects. The Bishop brick is unique. I'm loving that name. It was bought out by Texas Acme Brick in 1945, and they stopped using the Bishop brand in 1958. A.J.M. Cordell & Sons started producing clay and concrete bricks in 1955, yet another example of how this ties in with our history. It was during a period of expansion in Harris County when we reached significant growth and passed the magic $1 million mark, fueled by the energy sector and additions to infrastructure in the Houston area. An example of how you can use reclaimed wood to create a feature wall or accent wall. An inspiration wall made using cedar boards salvaged from a deconstructed home. It gives it a rustic, farmhouse, and even historical look that reminds of Round Top, Texas. This would be an affordable way to create an interesting space. Just when you thought you had seen it all, remember that ReStore salvages the entire home. You don't find bathtubs at your local antique consignment or thrift, but you do in this store, and it might bring back some memories. I will share a couple of these with you and ways that you could possibly use these in your home. And this one is pretty and pink. Heavy, durable, porcelain-coated and cast iron. These are known as receptor tubs. We found these often in the mid-century. It was a space saver with a dual purpose. This served as a shower basin and a bathtub. Similar ones were referred to as Cinderella tubs, rather small, and they came in different colors. This is something you could certainly incorporate into a mudroom, perhaps use it as a pet washing station. You could get creative. A way to identify a vintage tub is to use a magnet. I'm using my phone holder, and we verify that is magnetic and cast iron, no fiberglass here. You just found your grandmother's refrigerator, a General Electric from the early 1940s, which was state-of-the-art for the time, $250. A vintage GE refrigerator. The first that General Electric made was called a monitor top, where it had the compressor mounted on the top. But this was quite newfangled. From the early to mid 1940s, let's have a look inside. You will notice that the freezer is integrated into the refrigerator. Later in 1947, they actually had two separate compartments. And we see lots of vintage elements here. I'm looking for a cold meat drawer. Not seeing it, perhaps it was up above. They do have two vegetable crispers and butter in the door of the fridge. Not much has changed. I'm grateful for modern technology and newer appliances. And we're finding more antiques. This looks to be English with a marble top table. It's priced at $350, and they are giving us a comparison of something similar they have found online. And it's on wheels. $1,100 for a similar item. Another great find is this secretary. I've shared the history in a previous episode at the Bluebird Circle. Lots of great spaces in your home to incorporate a secretary. Always fun to discover the antiques. I met Leah, a viewer, while in the store today, and she shops here often. She recently found a French wine tasting table for $100. It is worth thousands. This Victorian chair is well priced at $199. And one of the best deals in seating today is this antique chair for $55. So glad you joined me today for this sustainable and affordable shopping at Habitat for Humanity's ReStore. We found some great items and wonderful ways to keep items out of landfills, and they do it very well here, brick by brick. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with sustainable shopping.